Let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Carmela Williams, and I am a small business coach and leadership expert. And I'm certified and have been now for 5 years. My expertise is working with entrepreneurs who are skilled in their area. Hey there, they're skilled in their area, but I get to partner with them to help them get their business and their systems in place to make it easy for people to do business with you. That is it in a nutshell. And so what I've been doing this week is a 5-day series, kind of a relaunch and a reintroduction to my coaching business. I'm no longer doing one-on-one coaching. We're doing instead in groups. There is a synergy and an energy and excitement that comes with being in small groups. In my Elite Women's Academy, not only is it a small group, it's an exclusive group we have to be invited in. And then it's only 10 women CEOs from 10 different industries. And so we are not having any competing services in that Elite Women's Academy. In that academy is transformational. So in those 90 days, you will see a major difference in your business. Any of the clients that I've worked with can give you a testimonial that your business can truly change in 90 days. Excuse me, I've worked with clients who only had their concept together, and by the time our 90 days was over, they had launched their business and was walking into it. And so, and for one in particular, I was there when she did the launch, and it was absolutely amazing. So today we're talking about how you're losing money by fishing in the wrong pond. Now, my grandmother was a fisherman, but grandma fished with the cane pole, and the bait. But when you're fishing with a pole, you can only catch one fish at a time. And so today, when I'm talking about fishing, I want you to think about casting a net, like the 8 to 10 feet nets that you got to be skilled to throw. I'm talking about the kind of nets that you have to stand in your front yard on your lawn and practice throwing it, because the preparation that's required for you to cast a net like that is different than the preparation for you holding a cane pole, right? And so as you are building your business and expanding your business, I want you to begin to think bigger. I want you to begin to think about casting a net. I want you to think about the skill and the time and the energy that you had to put into your business to get to a place where you can cast it and the net opens perfectly and lands right in the same spot. I want you to picture that image that not only can you cast the net, but you can cast that net about 12 feet out. Now, when I was doing my studying on casting the net, it said you got to be pretty in shape in order to, it says if you're very athletic and in shape, you can cast that net out into that ocean up to 12 feet away from you. But let me tell you something, as a small business owner and you're an expert in your area and you've been skilled and you've been doing this thing and you've been studying every day and you've been putting in your time for personal development, and as Les Brown would say, you hungry for more. When you get to that place, you are it's the same energy that's for that athletic fisherman that can take that 12-foot net, spin it around, and cast it out 12 feet away. You can do that. You can do that. And those are the people that I'm talking to on today. So listen to this. But listen at this. You can't catch fish if you don't at least throw the net. Somebody drop that in the comments. You got to cast the net. You got to put it out there, right? And that's what we were talking about on yesterday. Are you the best kept secret? You got a good business, but the only people that know are your 100 Facebook friends. You got to expand. You got to open up. You must cast your net. You got to put it out there. And when you do put it out there, I know sometimes every time you put something out, thank you for dropping that, you got to cast the net. I know sometimes when you put stuff out there, you're so nervous. You won't believe this. Every day when I go live, I am extremely nervous until I hit that button. I don't know why, but I think some nervousness may be good, right? But you got to still be positive. I'm going to cast this net. And then after that, you got to say, I was created for this. I was created for this. On those days when my nerves try to get the best of me, I say it out loud. I was created for this. You were created for this. So you got to cast your net. All right, here we go. I got 4 things I'm going to share with you today. Number 1, everyone is not your customer. See, when people are fishing and you have professional fishermen, typically they like to fish for a certain type of fish. And so you got to know that everybody is not your customer. I think that's one of the hardest lessons. And I know in the beginning, okay, Elizabeth, I know in the beginning you kind of take in whoever that's paying so that you can begin to discover your niche, but you got to eventually be able to say it and be okay with the fact that everybody is not your customer. Because sometimes when you get frustrated because people are wasting your time, they're not your customer, and you have to have a way to qualify them. Oh, let me just pause right there. That wasn't in my notes, but let me pause and tell you what that means. You must have a way to qualify people before they take up so much of your time and waste your time. So when somebody reaches out to you for your particular product or service, you have to have a way to qualify them. I was talking with somebody the other day. Sometimes people like to place these custom orders, but then when we get to the point where we have to tell you that you have to make a deposit, all of a sudden they don't respond anymore. So the way that you qualify them is now you adjust that initial conversation to say, if they ask for a specific price, these are my prices. And we will walk through the steps to get your order customized. Once that is complete, a 50% deposit is due before any work is initiated. How would you like to proceed? Qualify them, right? So if they just there to pick your brain, but they have no intention of paying, or they thought you were going to do the work for free, go ahead and qualify them up front. Go ahead and let them know this is my criteria, because this is my what do we say? What do we call it on yesterday? We called it, I'm looking for my notes. I'm sorry. This is my standard. This is my service standard. This is the way that we do business here. And so sometimes you need to qualify people to make sure that they should even be in your net, because some people will just waste your time. And y'all business owners, you know that. They just want to ask all these questions. Let me tell you, I do, this is a really good example. I do travel agent. Don't ask me to book travel for you. I just do it for my family, right? So I'm not trying to build a business with travel agent, but I am a travel agent. And so people will take up all your time, ask you to give them 3 or 4 quotes for a cruise or for an event and a trip. And then so here I am, I'm going the extra mile and I'm putting it together, and I got a really nice template that I put it in, and then I email it to them and I tell them the prices, and they ask me to tweak it a little bit, and I tweak it a little bit, and then they go and book it themselves independently, and now I've wasted 3 hours of time. And so you will see now that some travel agents will require a deposit up front before they do any quotes, and then that deposit is applied to your order once you confirm it. And so that's why you got to qualify people up front so that they don't waste your time as a business owner. As a business owner, I know yesterday we said that people are your greatest asset. They are. But so is your time. Your time is very valuable. And so you don't want to waste time with people who have no intention of buying, and they want you to go out and do all the research, and then they go book it themselves. And so the way you prevent that is you qualify them. And sometimes people will require a deposit up front that's going to be applied to your order before they do any work. And I think that's a good business practice. Thank y'all. Thank you. All right. So number 1, everyone is not your customer. I had a lady that I was helping to plan an event, and I asked her, I said, who was the event for? She said, everybody. Man, everybody can benefit from this. I need everybody to come. And I just could not get her to see this event is not for everybody. But she kept saying, yes, it is. It's for everybody. I want everybody to know about it. So we had to dig deeper. And this is what we do in the academy. In my Elite Women's Academy, we dig deeper so that I can help you excavate who you're really trying to help, right? And so I asked her what type of music was going to be played. And it was church music, Christian music. And I asked her what was the attire. And even the clothes that the people was wearing is really, I call it church clothes. And what was the atmosphere? She wanted a real peaceful atmosphere. She wanted a place where we opened in prayer and all of this. And so by the time we got to the end of asking her all these questions, she realized that her event was really for the church crowd. And even more specific, it was for the Christian audience. It was not for everybody, because everybody is not a Christian. Everybody doesn't enjoy that type of environment. Everybody don't enjoy those type of clothes. Everybody don't enjoy what the Christians enjoy. And so I had to help her see that everybody wasn't her client. Everybody wasn't her target audience. It was the Christian audience that she was trying to connect with. And that way we can save money and we can streamline by promoting it now to the Christian audience. Instead of promoting it, casting your net out to everybody, now you cast your net out and streamline it for a specific group of people. So that's number one. Everybody is not your customer. And that is a hard lesson. But once you figure out what your niche is and who you've been called to serve, it'll really help you. And if it's not the person, it could be the product. Your niche may not be a person. Your niche may be the type of product that you sell. So if the type of product that you sell is a custom product or something that's not real common, that is a niche, and that's okay. Maybe you only market the truck drivers because that is the only product or the only service that you give. And so if all of your services are to truck drivers, why are you marketing it to somebody on bicycles that don't go together, right? So you make sure that you're using the right hashtags, and you make sure that you're getting it in front of the right people. And every time you make a post, you let us know who it's for. You say, if you are a truck driver, if you know a truck driver, make sure you tag them in this post. You see what I'm saying? You're telling us who it's for. I'm telling you, the Elite Women's Academy is for female business owners that's ready to grow and expand their business by putting systems in place to make it easier for people to do business with you. Those are the women that I'm looking for the Elite Women's Academy. All right, number two. Here's number two for the day. Number two. What problem do you solve? Remember, we're answering the question, are you losing money because you're fishing in the wrong pond? So number two, you got to be able to answer this question. What problem do you solve for people? Why would your client be better or do better as a result of working with you? Why would your client do better or be better as a result of working with you? Once you can answer this question, it helps you to answer question number one. Because you will know who it is that you're helping. You'll be able to put into clear, concise terms how your service or how your product helps them get to the next level. One of the things that I do is I help alleviate stress. If you are good at your business, but you don't have a system in place for people to pay you, you don't have an invoicing system, you don't have a legitimate business, you don't have an EIN, maybe you got an EIN, but you need an LLC, you need somebody to help you, show you how to navigate those waters. Maybe you don't know where to start, and so you're all over the place. This is where I get to help you. Right? And so I understand the problem that I solve for my client. You got to understand the problem that you solve for your client. I remember when I used to do payroll, and if a teacher was out due to emergency, having a baby, sickness, or whatever it was, and then they ran out of sick leave, then we did what was called a deduct pay. And then with the deduct pay, as a courtesy, we could deduct that pay over 3 checks instead of just 1 check. And so I had the job of telling them now that I was going to be deducting pay from their check. And that was the only part of my job that I did not like. I didn't like telling them that you were going to lose money, and I didn't have a way to give them, I didn't have another option to give them on how to replace that income. My job was to take it back if you didn't do the work that we were paying you for, regardless of the reason. Even if it was a legitimate reason, even if you were sick, even if a loved one passed away, whatever the reason was, the deduct pay was there. And that's fair. I'm not saying that's not fair. But what I'm saying is, as an entrepreneur, you have to identify the problem that you solve for people so that other people can see themselves in your business. So when I'm presenting a business opportunity for people to make additional income, I can pull on that experience. And I can say, if you've ever had a situation where you had to have a deduct pay for a legitimate reason, this is a way that you can always have additional income coming into your house. You see how I can tap into that pain point that somebody is having, and then now share my opportunity with them to help them make more money. You have to be able to do that for your business. And once you're able to do that, you will know where your people are. Let's move on into number 3. Number 3 is go where the fish are biting. So you got to know where number 1 is, and you got to know what number 2 is and number 1 is in order for you to get to number 3. Because you got to know who your people are. And then once you discover who your people are, you got to network where your fish are biting. So sometimes just being on your personal page is not enough, because that may not be where your fish are biting. I've been to some business owners' pages just recently, and they got like 200-300 friends. First of all, you need more friends than that if you're trying to run a business. You need to open up. We talked about that yesterday. You need to open up, but you also need to consider getting in groups. Let me give you an example. I think it's called ISO. The ISO tea is pretty popular right now. So if you're selling tea and you're talking about healthy living and you're talking about weight loss, you should be in those type of groups where the people are trying to lose weight, so that sometimes you can answer as the expert in that group. You can show up in that group and provide feedback. You're not in people's inbox being creepy, if they ain't reached out to you, but you're just being an asset in the group. You're not in that group to take over. You're not in that group to sell your products, but you're in that group to make a connection and to be helpful. And so when you make a connection with people and when you're helpful, they then in turn will send you a friend request, and now you can begin to share your product or service with them. You got to go where the fish are biting. I hope this is making sense to you. Also, let me give you another example. If you're doing, what's the other thing that's trending right now? If you're doing financial literacy, financial empowerment, credit restoration, that business. If you're doing that business, you have to be able to speak to the pain point of those people who are struggling because their credit score is so low. And then I told my brother I need to interview him, because I love the way, okay, Miss Davis, I love the way my brother promotes it, because he's not just talking about building your credit. He's talking about educating you so that when you do get out of debt this time and get your credit restored, that you don't repeat the same cycle and end up back in debt again. And so getting into groups like that, or creating a group that's focused on financial education so that you can break generational poverty curses, is a whole new insight into that industry. And so now you show up as an expert in these groups and you're helpful. Again, you're not being spammy and inboxing people, but you're in the group just to be helpful. And now that you've helped somebody, now they send you a friend request, and now they're asking you one-on-one for your services. That's how you go where the fish are fishing. If you're not doing social media, think of it this way. This is my last example on go where the fish are biting. When I was promoting directly to HR managers, I went to SHRM meetings, which is the Society for Human Resources Management. I would go to those meetings once a month, and I would go in there to serve. I would do 5-minute lunch and learns. I did some things in those meetings free, but those were the gatekeepers, right? That I needed to get past so that I can get inside of the corporation. And if I had the gatekeeper that was speaking on my behalf, instead of me just going into a cold market, it was more likely that I would be able to get inside of that organization. That's how I got into Plant Hatch, from a 5-minute presentation that I did at a SHRM meeting. So you got to go where the fish are biting. Get in those groups. If you are selling, a specific thing, like I see Melissa Durden, she sells cultural items and African attire, and I love it. It's a very succinct niche, but there are groups that deal exactly with what it is that she's selling. And so she's able to get into those groups and network and show up as an expert in those groups. Another thing that she does is the head wraps. I love it. And I'm seeing that's trending now because people are home. And so they're doing the head wraps instead of worrying about doing their hair. I can see Melissa doing videos on just how to do it, how to put them together, how to be creative, how to mix the colors, how to, the variety of ways to wear them. It's just a specific niche. And so you show up as an expert in that area, and now the people reach out to you. You're not having to go to them. When you throw the net out, they're waiting on you to cast the net so that they can get in and do business with you and connect with you. And the last thing, y'all. Oh, we're making good time. The last thing, number four I got from Carla is called bass fishing, BASS. Bass. Bass fishing stands for best attitudes secure the sales. You're welcome. Best attitudes secure the sales. When you are casting your net, when you are networking in these groups, when you are trying to connect with your audience and position yourself as an expert with the people that you've been called to serve, you got to have the right attitude. That's why I love this acronym, BASS, B-A-S-S. Best attitudes secure the sales. You have to identify and, when necessary, replace your default emotion. Let me tell you what I mean. What is your default emotion in general? Because remember the other day I told you how you do anything is how you do everything. So if your default emotion is anger, sometimes when a client doesn't do things the way you think they should, you go to your default emotion, right? Is your default emotion defensive? You know, maybe they're asking you a question about your service and you automatically think that they're questioning who you are as an entrepreneur. They may just be like me. I ask questions for clarity. And so if somebody is insecure and I may ask a lot of questions, they get defensive because they feel like I'm being, I'm questioning who they are, and I'm not. It's just the way my mind works, right? I am a bullet list type of person. Remember yesterday, I told you about how you have the 4 different types of people. And with those people, those 4 different types of people, they process things differently. So I have to understand what's all required of me up front before I move forward. So a lot of times I ask a lot of questions. And so you have to be secure enough in yourself not to go to your default emotion of defensive, or not to go to your default emotion of anger, not to go to a default emotion of being sad. You could have a default emotion of being worried, a default emotion of confusion, a default emotion of just being surprised, a default emotion of being hurt or being embarrassed. If you have these negative default emotions in everyday life, you need to work on that and check that, because it can negatively affect your business. If somebody say to you that they're not interested in your program, you can't take that personal. They're just not interested in the program. It's not that they're not interested in you. It's just that program. And you have to give people the permission to be able to not deal with the program, but still connect with you. Because guess what? Later on, they may want something that you offer. And so your default emotion, if it's negative, it turns people away. Right? Best attitudes secure the sale. Your default emotion has to be something that is that's not going to turn future customers away. Right? They're either a customer, a future customer, or a referral. That was good right there. That was the Lord. Y'all should drop that in the comments. That person that you're dealing with is either a customer, a future customer, or a referral source. Because I just got an email literally right before I went live from somebody who's been watching these videos that don't really have a business, but they called their friend in another state that do have a business. And she said, hey, my friend's been watching your 5-day series and I just started a business and I need to talk to you. So you got to be really careful when you're fishing and not classify people and think that they're no good to you, because they may know somebody that knows somebody. And it only takes that one connection to take your business to a totally new level, right? So here we go. Let's do a quick recap. Are you fishing in the wrong pond? Number 1, everyone is not your customer. Number 2, be able to identify the problem that you solve, right? Identify how people will be better or do better as a result of working with you. Number 3, go where the fish are biting. That's simply saying you got to network. You got to get out the house when the world opens up. And until the world opens up, get inside of those groups right here on social media and begin to talk to people. Don't just be silent in the groups. Get in the groups, like posts, tell people congratulations. If they ask for a question and you know an article or something, share it with them. Don't sell your business in somebody else's group. That's rude, but you can be an asset inside of that group, right? And number 4, remember, we're always bass fishing. Best attitude, secure the sale. Identify your default emotion. If it is negative, make sure you replace it so that it doesn't negatively affect your business. And everybody that you talk to about business is either a client, a future client, or a referral source. And so when for those that are in my Elite Women's Academy, I've been sharing with you details all week long. We got one more day on tomorrow. We're going to be talking about, are you losing money because you won't let go? Some of you are at a place where you need to be able to hire an assistant. And because you like to micromanage, or because your default emotion is you don't trust people, you can't take your business to the next level because you got your hands in everything. And once your business get to a certain level, you have to prepare for help, right? And we're going to go into detail about that on tomorrow. And so in my Elite Women's Academy, again, it is for 10 women CEOs with non-competing services. You will create your custom business blueprint workbook. It'll have prompts to help you make sure that you got your finances okay, that you including everything in your prices, including operating expenses. If you miss what that looks like, make sure you go back and watch day 2. You'll set up your product and pricing guide. So whatever products you order, whatever services you provide, you'll be able to break it down. Your annual goals is broken down by product and service. You'll have your 3-year strategic plan in place. This 3-year strategic plan is important because maybe within 3 years you're going to need an assistant. And so in years 1 and 2, that means that you got a savings system in place so that you have the salary to pay the person in year 3. And so that's just kind of how my brain works, and I'll be able to help you get that done. There will be a weekly check-in. There'll be a private Facebook group. Each person in the Women's Elite Academy will have to set a 90-day financial goal starting at $6,000. So every woman in the Women's Academy will have a financial goal of $6,000 or higher. Excuse me. Because one of the things that I believe is when we put systems in place, these are systems that you can immediately implement. I'm not going to be teaching you theories that you got to go pray about, work up a blueprint on. No, we're going to do the work, and we will meet twice a month via Zoom with the whole group, and then once a month one-on-one. The systems that I'm going to show you how to do, you will immediately be implementing them into your business. And so every month you should see growth. And the reason why you have to immediately implement it is so that if we need to tweak it, we can tweak it. And at the end of the 90 days, your business does not look the same. And then when we finish up in January, the program starts October 11th and ends January 10th. When we finish up in January, your business is ready to go for the next year to 3 years. Right? And so that's what the Elite Women's Academy is about. The investment for that academy is $2,000. Now remember, I said it at $2,000 because it's valued at $5,000, but it's set at $2,000 so that you would make an investment and stick with it. Because we all know that we've paid for products and services and then walked away from it. You don't pay $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for something and just walk away from it. You have to be ready. You should be ready to take your business to the next level. You should be ready for accountability. You should be ready for growth. And if you're not ready for growth, you're ready to start preparing for growth, to put your systems in place, to put your plans in place, to get your pricing adjusted. Some of you can't wait to January to increase your prices. They need to be increased right now. And so this is a group of women that's ready to make $6,000 to $10,000 this year, not next year, this year. For those that's not ready for the Elite Women's Academy, I do have an online masterclass. That's a one-day class on October the 3rd. The investment for that masterclass is $250. The difference between the two programs is in the masterclass, we're going to take a deep dive. It's a masterclass. We're going to take a deep dive really quickly. I'll be doing a lot of teaching. I'll share with you links. I'll share with you resources. But the main difference is with the masterclass, now you go and do the work, right? And then there'll be unlimited Q&A. But in the Elite Women's Academy, you don't have to do it by yourself. I'll be there to help you, and then the other women will be there with the excitement and the energy cheering you on, right? And so listen, if you're interested in either one of those programs, just inbox me so we can set up a time to talk and I can give you all the details. What I've been doing this week is just highlighting the program and then telling you, giving you, trying to paint a picture for you in the ways that I can help you, right? So way number one, I can help you. Day one was so that you don't lose money because you don't have systems in place for people to pay you, for people to follow up with you. Day two, you're losing money because you won't raise your prices. We talked about the difference between ministry and business. And if God calls you to create a business, you have to charge. And there are some operating expenses and basic things that have to be included. Day three, we talked about, are you losing money because we can't find you? We talked about how marketing and social media. Today, we're talking about fishing in the right place, going where your people are and networking. And tomorrow, we'll be closing out our 5-day series, Are You Losing Money Because You Won't Take Your Hands Off? We're going to be speaking to those people who are micromanaging and you know you're at a place where you need to expand and you need to get help. Listen, I've enjoyed our time together. If you've missed any of the other videos, just look in the description of this video and hit that YouTube link. They're all right there on YouTube. That way you don't have to search for them. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't ever miss a training, whether I'm doing it here, on my business page, in my group. All of my trainings will be in one place on my YouTube channel. I love y'all and have a great day.